So why is education important? Let's just think first of all about people in general in enterprises. They're probably the most important resource that an enterprise has, and their performance also doesn't happen by chance. People need to know what their jobs are, what their roles are, and their skills need to be developed. And so successful enterprises have always focused on developing the skills of their people through educational programs, on-the-job training, and just sharing knowledge, from people to people. With COBIT, the same attitude exists. It's vital to do something about education, otherwise COBIT won't be understood correctly and therefore probably won't be applied properly. I mean, a best practice is only as good as the people who use it and adopt it. In the COBIT situation, it's not, on the one hand, it's not rocket science. We're not teaching high-tech concepts here or trying to put across very complicated concepts, but it has to be said these concepts for most people in the IT industry are new, and so they do need to be communicated properly. And when the COBIT material is actually utilised, the documents and the books and the materials, it's too easy for people to misunderstand or not even recognise that certain aspects of this material even exists. And so improving the awareness and education of the people who use the COBIT material is absolutely important and crucial, otherwise it won't work successfully. So what kind of education do we actually need to provide? It's really three levels here. At the beginning, it's important that people have grasped the concepts and so have understood the basic principles, the different elements of the COBIT material, and so they can understand the terminology, the range of things that are available, and at least understand and recognise what COBIT is actually all about. Then, at the next level, they need to understand how to apply these concepts in their working environment. And so the practical adoption of these techniques and the application of those techniques need to be understood. And then finally, it's important that they understand for their particular organisation how to actually roll this out, how to adopt these concepts and then make sure they're sustained and used successfully on an ongoing basis. Because, as I said once before, this is not a one-stop exercise, it's not a plug-the-gap approach, it's a strategic change and an enabling approach, and becomes eventually business as usual. So who actually needs to be involved in this educational experience? Within an enterprise, the key individuals are really the management layer, and this is on the business as well as IT. Remember, this is not just an IT technical issue, it's the use and application of IT in the business for proper business performance, good compliance, and the management of risk. And so all aspects of the enterprise's management team need to be involved here. But also the people who actually operate and run the processes, so the process owners and the process teams, need to understand what their process needs to achieve, how that process fits in with other processes, what the practices should be that they need to follow, and then actually participate and develop and maintain effective procedures and principles and policies so that those procedures work well and deliver the right level of IT performance and reliability. Besides the enterprise, we're seeing a growing number of people called upon to give help with this, because it is a major effort sometimes to transform an enterprise into this new way of thinking. And so there's a growing body of advisors, consultants, and these people need to be experts in this field. So it's not enough just to be able to talk about the concepts and be able to use the terms, but to actually guide people in how to do this properly. So those people need to understand this seriously and properly so they can give good advice to people. And then the third group of people, which is really where all this came from originally, are the audit community, the people who occasionally look at the way IT is being used in an organisation. It might be for the financial accounting opinion, or it could be for a Sarbanes-Oxley like compliance review, or it might be something as focused as is the security around an internet banking environment actually adequate. Now those auditor people increasingly are now faced with enterprises and clients who are following this COBIT approach, and so they need to talk in the same way, they need to adopt the same language and do their audits to the same criteria. So they also need to understand the concepts, understand how they're applied, and then understand how to communicate back to management in a way the COBIT model works about their opinions and the weaknesses they might find. So look, as I've said several times, success doesn't happen by chance. People don't do a good job simply by luck. As Gary Player once said, it's amazing how the more I practice, the luckier I get. It's down to reinforcing, focusing and driving good behaviour. And so a good educational program must focus on specific skills needs, be driven by what the business really requires to perform well, and enable the effective adoption of these COBIT concepts.